Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Wrestling with Things. We wrestle with all sorts of things in sports and entertainment. And now, here are your hosts, David and Sammy Joseph.
Yo, you can.
Ah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Wrestling with Things. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to us on YouTube at Wrestling with Things to keep up with all our interviews and conversations on the sports and entertainment world. But, Sammy, let's get into some professional wrestling, particularly Randy Orton. Some may say this is his best run in the last 5 to 10 years. He took out Edge, he took out Christian, he took out the Big Show back to back to back. The Legend Killer is back, and this got me really thinking, Sammy. This man is very consistent. He has
Hmm?
been in this business for 20 years now. It's crazy to say that because he still seems like a fairly young guy, even though he's a vet now. But
Time
I think,
flies, huh?
yeah, but he still seems younger, but he's older now. But it got me thinking, where does Randy Orton rank all time as a professional wrestler? Taking into account, and those who may be watching may be asking, what's the criteria? I think the criteria is impact on the business. I
Hmm.
think criteria is, classic moments and matches in the ring,
Yep,
move
definitely.
set, charisma,
Yep.
microphone and promo and verbal skills, look, all of that, accolades all wrapped into one. So, Sammy, where do you think Randy Orton ranks all time? Obviously, we people do it with the NBA, you do it with wrestling, obviously. Top 50 is like I think the nice chunk to know that you're legit all time great. So, where would you say he ranks in the top 50?
I would probably put him in the back end to 40, and it
Wow.
maybe not 40. Actually, no. I'll give him the back end to 35 to 40. Because if we're considering Randy Orton, and it hurts me too, because I actually learned to like him a lot. But if we really look at Randy Orton, his whole career, he only worked in one way. The every time he's in that high successful moment, it's always when he's that asshole heel guy who's just pissing off people and doing dirty, grimy stuff to
Yeah.
everybody. He can only work in that one type of way. When you put him in the good guy category, we don't really got a whole lot of classic moments that we can take from his career. Because that's always been kind of the weak point of him, and it's very visible. If you really look at him, it's very noticeable that he can't be successful in the good guy role. What do you think about that? Am I
Nah,
wrong? Am I wrong for feeling that way?
nah. I can't help but I gotta respect that. I really appreciate that because that was valid. I could be a man and say that was valid. I disagree with where you place him still, but your points were 100%. I'm not even gonna try to poke holes through him. He has never, ever, ever
Ever?
been a natural baby face. He's
Yeah,
never been a natural hero. It's so visibly uncomfortable when he's trying to be a good guy. That's why
exactly.
it only ever works when he's the good guy that just knocks everybody out of his way. He's not the pure good guy. It works best when he's the tweener and in between. And up until recently, when I really sat back and thought about it, for the most part, I usually thought when I off the top of my head, because I never really took the time to think deeply about it. I used to think he was in that 35 to 40 range too. But the more I think about it, let's be
Mhm.
fair here.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. He loses. I think what holds him back from being in, the closer to the early 20s and
Hmm.
15s is the fact that he only works in one way. You know that the crazy villain.
Yeah.
But let's take into account he's really better than a lot of people if we're stacking up his body of work against a lot of people and taking all those things into account. Because, off the top of our heads, we don't have to do a thorough list, but we know some of the obvious ones. We know Triple H is a better all-time great. John Cena, Stone Cold, The Rock,
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan, for better or worse, Ric Flair, Bret Hart, those are some of the obvious ones. But when you get past the obvious ones, who are you really putting over Orton?
I got you.
All-time great Orton and Jericho. I think he goes
Jericho.
toe-to-toe with them. He goes toe-to-toe with him. He goes toe with him.
Jericho's
Orton
a total package player, bro.
Orton and Edge is arguable.
Edge.
Or Randy Orton and Eddie Guerrero, it's arguable. That's a really good one.
What about Kurt Angle?
Ooh, I'll give Kurt the edge. I'll give it. I'll for sure. I'll give it. But Jericho and Edge, you're disrespectful for saying Edge. I don't know if I can say Edge.
Edge is another one of those guys. He can be a total package guy.
Directly, I think Randy Orton, because of his consistency and longevity, and man, I think we take him for granted. This guy's been here this whole time through some of the better eras, some of the worst eras, and he's been that consistent guy that could work with anybody, make anybody look good, and you could slap him into anything, and he gives it marquee value. I think we take him for granted because he's so consistent. I think he's in the early 30s, in the top 50. Maybe that 30 to 35. Maybe if you argued that 25-ish, that late 20, because he's better than a lot of people. And, taking accolades to account, not many people got straight more accolades. It's amazing.
But I'm glad you said that he's worked through a lot of rough eras, because that's exactly why his accolade is so stuffed up. It's because there was a point in time where there really wasn't a whole lot of top tier guys to choose from. Around that 09,
that's not why
11,
though.
Yeah, around the 09 to like 2013, there wasn't really a whole lot of people you can pick in that main event tier type of category. There was only like Cena, CM Punk, him. Brock Lesnar was just coming back,
I do think that 09 through like 2011 was some of the worst eras in wrestling history. But let's not act like this guy wasn't, always relevant and successful in the Ruthless Aggression.
Yeah.
Whether it was Rated RKO tearing through DX, whether it was Evolution winning the Intercontinental Championship, or whether it was, that stretch of time through 2007 to 2009 where he was just destroying everybody on Monday Night Raw and going back and forth with Cena, obviously, because, they had to hog the scene towards the late Ruthless Aggression era. But Randy Orton's been successful in great eras and weak eras, so I will not say that. But like I said, let's keep naming, off the top of our heads, we could kind of do it. If we're sprinkling out the rest of the all-time greats the non-obvious ones, who is he not better than? This guy, and let's shine a light on the straight in-ring. We talked about character a little bit, and we agreed. And let's not get it twisted. He's one of the best villains of all time. Like,
oh yeah, he is. If we're talking villains, he's definitely up there.
And that's why it doesn't bother me that he's such a bad good guy, because he set the bar so high with his bad guy performances. But who Ricky Steamboat, not better than Randy Savage.
Sting is.
I might give you Sting, maybe. Yeah, I'll give you Sting.
If I'm
who else? Again, you got to dig deep, is what I'm saying. It's not that simple with this dude. Brock Lesnar, I'll give Brock Lesnar.
I look at Brock kind of the same way as Orton. You know what I mean? I do. I look at Brock kind of the same way. So
That's
you
unfair.
can
That's
so you can
unfair. I think that ignores their true value when you just evaluate
no
them off that.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't ignore the true value. I think when we're talking about this greatest of all time conversation, I like to look at all the total package players in the upper tier. That's what I do. I put all the total package guys who can literally be successful in every type of way, and I put them in the higher categories. You know what I mean? That's why I said guys like Kurt Angle, guys like Chris Jericho, Edge. I'm going Bret Hart. You know what I mean? Who else can I think out there?
Eddie Guerrero, it's close, but I might give Randy the edge.
Eddie Guerrero,
it's close.
What about CM Punk?
No. CM Punk might have had a higher peak for where his prime was, where like peak CM Punk with how over he was probably more over than peak Orton maybe, but
he did it both ways.
But I wouldn't say he's been greater for longer periods. He hasn't done more for WWE. He hasn't done more for the WWE, the business.
You don't think so?
He hasn't. He has not contributed more value, like across the board. Randy Orton has a contributed value, bro. A lot of value.
I mean, yeah, Randy Orton definitely has that longevity factor. But when you look at CM Punk's career,
is CM Punk a better in-ring worker? This dude Orton is one of the best work. Like we're talking about pure worker. His polishedness is crazy. I don't think he's a better worker than Orton. He's a better promo man, but nah, I'm not giving it to him.
You don't think it's arguable in the ring?
You're selling Randy's legacy really short. You are really selling.
CM Punk, if you really look at CM Punk's
arguable
career,
against guys like
had a lot of classics.
Brian.
He's had a lot of classics in the ring.
Not nearly enough.
And the reason why I say CM Punk is because CM Punk, he's had high moments both ways. Remember, as the straight edge guy, he was a nasty heel.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when
he wasn't a top guy. He wasn't a legitimate top guy when he was doing that character, though. I give him props, but he wasn't a. Randy Orton's been like a certified main event player for over a decade and been given memorable, matches and performances that whole time. No way. And his legacy is not bigger. Okay. He has the evolution piece of his legacy, the legend killer, the Viper, and then he also has when he was running his own stable with Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. He has so much parts that he contributed to WWE. He's done more. I think CM Punk could hang his hat on like I said, that stretch where he was the cult of personality. The voiceless, that was harder than anything Randy's done, I think, but he hasn't done more.
Okay.
Edge, guys like Edge, I think it's a coin flip. You could say Edge. I have no problem with you saying Edge is better, but I don't think so.
I gotta go
Edge
with Edge.
Edge wasn't as more of a. I don't know. I feel like Edge wasn't. I don't want to say he wasn't taken seriously because he was. He wasn't like when he won the championship. They were always really brief, cowardly runs. He wasn't. I feel like he wasn't like when Randy Orton's name is in a match. You take that as a serious clash and as a credible, main eventer all the time. Whereas Edge is like, he's always the underdog in a sense. Because you expect him to always be that type of character when he was winning championships. And I think it's a coin flip, like I said, but I think Randy Orton's been a bona fide main eventer for longer. So I'll give him the edge once again.
I don't know about longer. I don't
Longer and better.
because
Better with it.
Because here's what I'm saying. They both kind of became main eventers at the same time. If you think about
Kinda.
it, it was kind of the same stretch. But like I said, I can call Edge and say, Edge, be a baby face,
Yeah.
be a baby face and try to get some chairs, like and like real genuine chairs, and he's gonna do it for me. Orton, you can never do that with him.
Here's the thing, though, and let's be fair to Randy Orton. We both agreed that he's not an actual good guy, and he's not good at it. But whenever he is a good guy, the crowd still pops for him like crazy. Even when he's bad at it, he gets pop. They pop like crazy. Like he was getting pops like crazy when in 2011 when he was facing Mark Henry and Christian and all that crop of guys. I know that it wasn't the elite crop, but that's the hand he was dealt with. And then even a little more recently when he was like I want to say like about in 2017, 2018-ish, when he was fighting for the United States title against Robert Roode and AJ Styles, I believe it was in that mix. He was kind of that tweener baby faces. He was still getting pops. He still is over as hell, even though he doesn't do it as well as Edge. It's not like he turns babyface and the crowd starts not reacting to him. He still gets the same reaction. I'm saying it doesn't matter.
But he doesn't really do nothing like that sticks out. You know what I mean? He never does anything that sticks out. They just cheer for him because the guy across from him is good at their job.
No, I think they cheer for him
and he's famous too.
He's the all-time great, and
he's famous
at the him. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's never had a moment that stuck out as him as the baby face.
And one thing for me that I think holds back Randy Orton, and even though I do think he would be in that 30 to 35, I think one thing that does hold him back is not simply just that he made a good, natural, good guy and he doesn't adapt to it, but he never had to, if you really think about it, he never really had to change his character. If you really think about it. He's always Randy Orton.
That's what I mean.
Not saying he should change his name or something, but he's always kind of been for most of his career like either I'm the pretty boy legendary kid that kills legends, or I'm the sadistic asshole. He's never had to really reinvent himself like Triple H went from Hunter Hearst to dramatically had to reinvent all the way to the game. Jericho's had to reinvent himself a lot of times. Yep. He was the cruiserweight that had to work his way up to being the loud heel.
So was Edge.
Yeah, Edge, the tag team specialist that was a little comedy with Christian, and then the rated R superstar. Everybody had like these big, like visible transformations where they really like had to, change up their game plan and their character work behind the scenes and on camera. But Randy's always been Viper. Yeah. He never really had to. But some of that's because he's just so good. But some of that's also a shame because it's like, what did he really do? When has Randy Orton really been playing a gimmick like that? He's just Orton. Like,
okay,
I think that's why people don't give him credit.
Can I throw another name at you?
Yeah,
Batista.
No, I can't give him that.
I might.
I can't give him that.
I might give it a Dave Batista.
I can't give him that.
Why not?
I can't. He's not half the worker Randy Orton is. He's not
You're
a better
right.
promo. He's not a better mic worker.
Yes,
That's someone
he is.
who nah.
Yes, he is.
No,
Yes, he
no.
is.
Batista's never been known for his promos. Batista's been on these WWE Network documentaries saying that I was always shy most of my career. I didn't open up on the mic. He was never the greatest promo guy.
That's true.
He was okay in spurts.
No, but has a heel. He knows how to say things that will stick out more than Randy Orton.
No,
where the real man at?
Have you been hearing?
He walking into the building.
Have you been hearing
like
Randy Orton lately?
Oh, come on, man.
This has been his best promo structure of his whole career. His promos have been A+. I think
Batista's a better actor than him too.
I know Randy Orton's a better worker and verbal talker than him for sure, and he's had more classic matches because he's a better wrestler. More classic matches for sure.
It's longevity.
Even when they were coming up.
No, when they were coming up, Batista was always better than him, man.
Oh
Let's
my
keep it
God.
real. Batista was the face of SmackDown. A good guy.
No, he was.
You know what I mean?
That was my favorite Batista. That was his prime, but he was not better than Randy Orton the whole time.
Oh yeah,
that was his time when he was better than Randy Orton, like 05 to 08. I give him that.
Till he left.
Nah, come on.
As soon as Batista went to SmackDown, as soon as Batista feuded with Triple H, and then till he left, he was better.
Batista might be behind Edge, Jericho, and Orton. I don't know
about that. I don't know about Orton.
And I like Batista more than those guys. If I have to think about it.
I don't know about Orton, man. I really don't. I don't know about Orton. Batista was a prime time player.
His resume, and it goes up against everyone. Yeah, but Batista, you can't throw Batista against anybody and be like, yo, be a ring general and carry this to a classic masterpiece. You can't do that with him.
No, you can't.
Have to.
I think that's his weakness. Yeah,
he's good in the ring for his for a muscular guy, but he's not a general. You can't rely on him night in, night out. Nor can you on the mic as a heel orb. He wasn't that great of a babyface, but he made it work.
Yeah, he was a great babyface.
He was over. I'll give him that.
He was really, really over.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. For that whole SmackDown stretch, he was really, really over.
Yeah, he was over. He
against a good guy. Randy Orton can't do that for me. Randy Orton cannot do that for me.
He technically did, though.
No, it was not the same. It was nowhere near the same. During Batista's time, SmackDown was arguable with Raw.
Some of that's because of better talent, but yeah, I agree with you.
I don't know. It was because they had a better
Batista, but I'll give you that. Batista definitely, hands down, had a better SmackDown run, but I think Randy Orton solidifying, slowly, he's that dude. He's high up there in the top 50 than people think, man. But I do think the things that hold him back is lack of true having to reinvent his character. He never really had to, and he also, he's not the greatest of good guys. Those two things do work against him. From him ever being higher, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I'm holding out on the Batista thing. I'm gonna convince you. Don't worry. I'm gonna convince you.
Because Batista, would you say Batista's better than? Would you say Batista's better than Edge? No.
No, not though. I don't think neither of them are better than Edge.
Man, you're giving Edge a lot of praise.
I don't think neither. No,
I don't mean to disrespect Edge at all, but
when I look at Edge, man, Edge was able to literally be highly successful in every division. Tag team, main event, mid card, and then he did it while being a heel and a babyface. I can't give Orton that love. I can give Orton the villain love, but I can't give him the whole total package. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's a valid
That's why
point.
I put him. That's why I put him over. I put him over both of them. But I'm gonna hold out on the Batista thing because I think Batista was like one B to Cena, and it was close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Orton never got to that type of
Orton was a 1B to Cena through. That's why they were always trading the championship. He was the 1B to Cena.
What?
Cena was Superman.
He was always the third
Batman.
wheel, just sticking his nose in business.
He was always Batman to Cena Superman, bro.
No.
He was.
Nah. That was definitely Batista's role till Batista left.
Nah, so Batista was just straight up 1B. He was the face of SmackDown. I'll give him that. But Randy Orton did become Cena's rival. Like, everybody knows that.
Maybe when Batista left.
Yeah. A little bit while he was there.
Because I remember the reason. Remember he quit because Cena kept beating him. Batista.
Yeah, but Batista definitely became a crazier fucking success for mainstream wise. I'll give him that in the total picture. But
yeah, that's why.
But that's why.
He was better than Orton. If Orton was better than him, he would have did it. Let's keep it honest.
That's crazy.
It's the truth.
Randy Orton is a mechanic in the ring, man. He's just that good. He was the one who made that Daniel Bryan blossom to superstardom when he was
it wasn't
the
him.
face of the
That was Hunter.
He was the face. Yeah, but who was the dude that made it all start? He came and cashed in his money in the bank, and he became the poster child for the Authority, and he was winning chips, and he was getting Daniel Bryan over, bro.
But Hunter was the one drawing most of the heat. He was the one drawing most of the heat.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
It's the truth. Come on.
Orton. It was Hunter and Orton.
But
who was the key piece? He made it all happen.
Orton was just the full-time worker that they had to use.
Yeah.
Because Hunter don't want to get his things dirty the whole time.
That's the full-time worker you could rely on.
That's why it was Hunter that pedigreed him. It was Hunter that made the Authority. It was Hunter that kept making him win those championships. You know what I mean? And it was Hunter that kept cock blocking them from all the title opportunities.
No, I agree. I definitely agree.
You know what I mean?
Don't discount Randy Orton's effect, man.
No, Randy Orton was definitely putting on great matches with Daniel Bryan. I give him that. Randy Orton's great in the ring. He's flawless in the ring.
He just come on. Edge just came back damn near after a damn near decade layoff. And I know it was just a tagline for marketing purposes, but they perhaps had the greatest match ever.
Oh, stop it. Come on.
they had
Cut
that
it
was
out,
the
dude.
marketing scheme. They for sure might have had the greatest match of this year. That shit. How you pull a guy out of retirement and have such a man? That was such a great match, man. It really was.
I give them.
They had all sorts of elements in it. They went like damn near 40 minutes. They had all the suspenseful, dramatic kickouts and near falls. They pulled out. Randy Orton pulled out the pedigree to pay homage to Triple H, and Edge pulled out Christian's finisher. They had those little storytelling elements. They mimicked each other's finisher, like the Attitude Era. Like they did like some cool things, and the selling was really good, and the pace was just perfect. I didn't think Edge could do all of that. so early into this run. Like I thought he would need a couple of tune-up matches. So I give a lot of that credit to Randy. Edge has said
Yeah.
it on multiple interviews all over the place with Booker T and all in the media. He said he selected Randy coming back because that's who he trusted to be the ring general to guide him if he's off in there or if he doesn't know what to do or if he's feeling a little rusty. Randy's making this happen, like,
Yeah,
and
for
this is
sure.
great TV. Everything they've done, that feud.
For sure, for sure. Randy is definitely like consistent, a gem in that ring. That's why they chose him for that whole thing. Because if you pick somebody else, you wouldn't have got that type
What?
of match out of him. You
You
wouldn't you
wouldn't
wouldn't have
get
got
that
it.
last man standing. You wouldn't. You
None
wouldn't
of those
get
youngsters could do something like that. They just want to jump and do 50 backflips
that.
and do sweet chin musics like 15 times.
Yo, they
You,
love,
you know what I'm saying?
love
Like
that damn super kick, bro. And I get mad at the company for not enforcing that. Only one or two people could do the move. They let them all run out there and kick. It's crazy. It's as common as a clothesline now.
it's crazy, but there's rumors that they're gonna have a tiebreaker match. You want to see something like that?
Yeah, I do think the feud it needed a tiebreaker the way the story was being told. You
But
know,
even after all that time dragged out from his injury,
I think it's perfect because Randy Orton is the one who injured him. So, it gives that build up and anticipation for where Edge comes back and it's like, I gotta get my revenge and it's the tiebreaker and you see who really the better man is. But I also think they have another great one in them that they can make different and maybe with a different stipulation now. Maybe I know the rumor is like it's either gonna be like a I Quit match or it could possibly be for the WWE Championship. But either
wow,
way, I think that finale could be crazy. If it was for the WWE Champion, let's
I'm
say
not mad
Orton,
at that.
let's say I think it's possible. Orton hasn't one more. I don't know why it took me so long to get to that. All this recent work shows me he totally. If you put the WWE Championship on him tomorrow, it would be the most interesting thing in pro wrestling. And
I'm
and
not mad
that's
at that.
and that's saying great things because how many guys in the second half of their prime can you say that about in wrestling? Like he or in usually he's a guy we look at like, yo, he's already a made star. He doesn't really need the championship. But honestly, there's not a lot of people that make sense to beat Drew McIntyre. But if Randy Orton did, it's believable. It works. He would get heat,
It
and it
would
would
work,
be interesting TV.
and he's the best. He's the best villain on the roster right now.
There's no other villain that you could continue stacking up. That I don't want McIntyre to lose it, but if it's looking like very tempting to give it to Randy Orton right now, in
He's
my
gonna
opinion.
have to.
SummerSlam, that's a big
He's
match.
no, but he's gonna have to because at the end of the day, there's only so much people they can throw
You
right now.
know they're struggling to give credible heels when they're lining up Ziggler for Drew McIntyre.
Exactly,
They're
exactly,
struggling, man.
exactly. That's a sad case, dude.
I
And
hate when they do that.
and and and,
Like
and I no, but
this
but I
dude's the
feel bad
definition
because
of filler. He's filler.
I feel bad because they just don't have the opponents. You can't keep doing set. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
Seth's been he's been took a back seat.
Yeah, but who else is out there?
And then he beat Bobby. For some reason, they made that a one-off. I thought they could have had a rematch.
I told you
Honestly.
they was gonna make it a one-off.
Nah, you got that. You did tell me that. And
He's black.
I think
I told you
tell me
that.
the way it ended with Lana screwing him, they didn't have a more in the tank. And him and MVP, like I said, gold.
They could have did one more. No,
TV
they could have did one more. They could have did one more.
They could
one more wouldn't have hurt.
Even if he lost, they could have did one more.
Yeah,
I don't get why they went straight to Ziggler. Like, because the
Ziggler's not credible no more.
I know. I don't get it. Like, it's like anytime they're like, oh, we just want to throw away a throwaway filler. Let's hit up Ziggler. Like, you can't keep doing that. We don't respect him enough in that spot as an audience. Like, you got to reward the audience. I'll admit this. They did make it a little interesting how they made him pick the stipulation, and he picked the stipulation at Extreme Rules that he could use weapons and McIntyre couldn't. So that was something a little different. But I still didn't want for 1 second believe he had a shot. So, you just can't keep doing that. So, yeah, you can tell they're running out of credible heels. Kevin Owens is a baby face.
Yeah.
Andrade is he's not ready for that yet, in my opinion.
No.
Yeah.
He's a mid-card guy.
Who else? Yeah. The desperation
that's pretty much it.
Ziggler's used. The desperation's all over their face.
I would have.
This is why I'm afraid McIntyre's gonna lose, because Randy Orton's the only guy that could keep him busy, like win, lose, or draw, like that.
Exactly.
That's believable. And let's say Orton wins and holds it on to it and waits for Edge. That will be a crazy anticipation, because they'll market it as Edge's first championship match in a decade. That's going to draw a lot.
And he would